Hello everyone, it's JB. I just went to Mexico, and in order to get to my final destination, I had to go through Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. And I decided, I actually tried to stay at a hotel. I was going to sleep for a couple hours before getting on my plane the next morning and going to where I went, which was Puerto Vallarta. Um, I was going to stay at a hotel and or a hostel, but that hostel didn't exist. So then I went to a hotel, but it was very cheap, and it was so cheap that the place didn't have heating. It was cold. It was very cold, and it was dirty, and it was nasty, and it was loud, and it was all kinds of shit going on there. And so I didn't stay there very long, a couple of hours. And then after that, I decided to spend the night in the airport. The reason I decided to do that was because my flight was early in the morning. I think at like 5 something o'clock in the morning, and I did not want to have to get a taxi very early in the morning or late at night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. And because Ciudad Juarez is the most dangerous city in the world right now, or thereabouts, depending on who you ask, and to take a taxi anytime, even at midday at lunchtime, is dangerous there. It just is. And so I didn't want to take a taxi in the middle of the night to go to the airport. So I decided to take one earlier. I had the hotel that I stayed at for a couple hours. I had them call a taxi for me, and the guy, he was one of the more honest taxi drivers that I've ever dealt with, and I've dealt with thousands of them. They're just about all of them are thieves, but this guy wasn't. He gave me a fair price, and he took me to the airport, and it was fine. But the airport is. It, there aren't very many busy airports in Mexico, with the exception of like Guadalajara and Mexico City. Um, Ciudad Juarez, I think, is the number 11 busiest airport in Mexico, but it's really not that busy. But during the night, it was open. They allowed me to stay there. I used their internet. It was free. I did a lot of walking around. I did a lot of smoking of cigars outside. It was very safe. The reason it's very safe is because there's soldiers standing all around with guns because of the security issues there in Mexico generally, especially in Ciudad Juarez, and the fact that it's an airport. But yeah, so I was safe. Um, Not very comfortable because if you've ever been to an airport, the seating usually is not very comfortable. But safe, warm. They don't heat the whole airport, but they do have these heaters that you can go up to and get a little heat when you need some. Um, and it was okay. And I was there more than 12 hours, I think, something like that. Around 12 hours, let's say that. And one problem is they didn't have food. No restaurants were open. No vending machines. But I talked to a guy. I don't think he was a soldier. He was maybe security or something. He did something at the airport. And he told me about a little place in the area where the employees go and people who work at the airport, and maybe the soldiers go, where you can get food from a vending machine. So I went and got some food and drink from the vending machine. It wasn't too terribly expensive. Just a little bit more than what you could buy at a convenience store, the price you could pay at a convenience store, but not too bad. And so I got plenty of food to eat. I ate a lot of chips, you know, and drank Coca-Colas, and that was great. And then I got on my plane. It's a very small airport, so, well, very small. It's a it's small compared to the airports of that in the cities of that size in the United States. So there's 1 million people there, and the airport just isn't that busy because regular people who live there aren't flying around too much. But yeah, so in the morning I went to where my flight was supposed to be. Well, I should say first that Going through immigration was very simple because I actually didn't do it at the airport. But that would have been simple there too. At the airport, you could actually do it. In the Ciudad Juarez Airport, that you can get your travel permit. And going through security was very simple as well. Very easy. You didn't have to take your shoes off. Didn't have to bend over and cough. Didn't have to do anything. They just walked you through a metal detector, and that was it. And didn't have to take your computer out and your iPhone and your camera and your everything else. You just push it through the machine, and that's it. So it was good. But then there was some confusion about where the plane was supposed to be, which bay, and the plane's there in that airport. They don't actually come up to the building. You have to walk down a ramp and then walk across the tarmac and then walk up some stairs and you get on your plane. But it wasn't too bad. There was a little confusion on their part, but it all got figured out. We got on our plane, we went on our way, and I had a great time in Mexico. And I'll tell you about that in some other video. But thank you.